as far as what this game means. First of all, it's our outlive game, and that's Auburn basketball's fight against cancer. It's an awareness campaign. Every time people hear about outlive, it's just a reminder that the best way to outlive your cancer is to detect it early. So we got to get checked. To that point, the Mike Slive Foundation will be down from Birmingham, and they'll be doing PSA screenings for prostate cancer. But men, you know what you need to do as far as your colonoscopies when you get past 40 years old, and the different screenings that need to take place. Uh, uh, Women know what they need to do as far as their mammograms and breast cancer. And the whole point is just don't look at that rash on your skin and think it's nothing. Go get it checked. It probably isn't anything. And a reminder, the best way to outlive cancer is to detect it early. The second thing is whether you go to outlive.com, and I appreciate you guys, putting that out there through the Bruce Pearl Family Foundation. 100% of everything that comes into our foundation goes back out to patients that are battling cancer. It's not for research. It doesn't go for brick and mortar. It goes to pay a mortgage for a family who has had to miss time at work because of chemo and radiation. It goes for medication that maybe might be too expensive for a family to afford and is not covered by their insurance. And the different agencies in the state of Alabama that we support, they know exactly who needs the help. And so we would appreciate people taking a time and be prayerful about it, knowing that by giving to Outlive, you're going to be helping somebody, directly. These two teams, Tennessee and Auburn, have been the best two teams in the SEC, at least by winning percentage over the last 8 years. And I'm proud to be a part of that. And even in some smaller, lesser way, also proud that I was at both Tennessee and helped get that thing going a little bit. And now here at Auburn, got such great respect for Coach Barnes and their coaching staff, and he's done an amazing job with that Tennessee team. They play as good a defense as anybody in the country. Their field goal percentage defense, their three-point defense. They're one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country, and they're really shooting it really well from three. They've got 3 or 4 guys that can really, really knock it down, and it's a tough cover. Only 4 teams have scored 70 points or more against them all season long. Like us, they play an incredible schedule, and so we're going to have to be, at our best. So excited about College Game Day being here. We're the only school in the country that can say, at least at this point, that College Game Day has been on our campus 5 years in a row in college basketball. Now, if they go back to Duke later on this year, they go back to Kansas later on this year, that they can say the same thing. But still, to be in that company, it speaks to the incredible home court advantage that we have at Neville Arena, the best home court advantage in all of college basketball, thanks to the Auburn family. And we're excited about having college basketball, ESPN, and the College Game Day crew here in Auburn. I'm happy for our players who have worked so hard to get that visibility. Happy for our student body and our university as well. So right now, we'll practice this afternoon, and there's a possibility he'll try and practice, but we're not sure. I'll obviously know more tomorrow and Saturday. So I don't know whether he's questionable or passable, but I do know he's going to try to move around a little bit today, and we'll just have to see how he does. Well, no, it actually doesn't make it much fun at all, because they know us so well, and it's hard to run what you do. Like Coach Barnes, we are who we are, and what we've been doing it this way for a long, long time. Nobody does it better than Rick Barnes and Tennessee. So, I want to beat Tennessee because they're one of the best teams in our league, and a team that that we need to beat to be able to have a chance to be a champion. But not for any other reason. It's no fun going up against a friend. He's one of the leading assist guys in the country, and he's a brilliant passer. He's already set the all-time record for Tennessee in steals, and he's been the face of that program for a long, long time. In many ways, they go as he goes, and he always goes pretty well. Um, he's a great 3-point shooter with a great percentage, and he's hard to stay in front of. So obviously, so much of what you do, you got a game plan. For Zakai Ziegler, he will go down as one of the all-time greats in the history of Tennessee basketball. Make it harder to score, because you could throw the ball in a Johni, you get buckets, and you can play inside out basketball if they double. And so, obviously, you don't have that. You got to find other ways to score. Um, the they just they have a system of defense where they're able to guard everything. They do it with great ball pressure. They do it by extending catches. They do it with athleticism. They don't take possessions off. They're gonna have they'll be everything we do will be extremely well scouted and fits within the framework of what they guard, and so it'll come down to being able to execute and make some tough shots. And you're just not going to get anything easy against Tennessee. They're very physical offensively, very physical defensively, and you've got to be able to handle that physicality on both ends of the floor. Yeah, I mean, I think that everybody's had to step up, and I think that last week without the Player of the Year and our best player, or Player of the Year candidate, right? To beat two teams that are nationally ranked, and to go to beat Georgia at Georgia, who had won 13 in a row at home. Road wins are really hard to get in our league, and so to be able to do that without our best player does speak to the depth and the breadth and the balance of our team. Obviously, Taha Pettifar was incredibly special, and he has been so many times against the best teams in our schedule. Miles Kelly continues to be like the most consistent guy for us on the road. Every single road game, he has delivered. Chad Baker had a great second half. We all guarded, and Dylan Cardwell had an impacted the game with his defense and his block shots and his offensive rebounding in a huge way. I believe we were plus 18. With Dylan on the floor, and we only got 4 points from Dylan and Cheney, and yet we're able to win that basketball game. But we don't win the game without Shaheem Hudson. We just don't. He plays 18 minutes in that game. He played really good defense. He kept Georgia's size off the boards, and that's what a team is all about. Like no matter what happens this year, no matter where we go, what we do, we would not have beaten Georgia at Georgia without Shaheem Hudson. Coach Barnes and I will visit more in the offseason. Coaches, we don't coach it, at least I don't have much interaction with coaches during the course of the season. Every now and then you'll text somebody after a great win or some kind of historic achievement, but we'll save the interaction for the offseason. I mean, a lot just depends on on how we're being guarded. It doesn't mean that we're not sharing the ball. Part of, let's just say, if you said single digits, we didn't make as many baskets, so therefore we had fewer assists. And Johni is one of our better. I think he's second on a team in assists or close to him. So obviously you're missing a big playmaking part of our offense, and a lot of the baskets that we get are from Johni's passing. Be one of the most impactful transfers in college basketball. Dalton Connect was last year. Miles Kelly certainly is for us this year. He's got great size like Dalton, incredibly quick release, and he's made big shots. He's made contested shots. He can shoot it from three. He's got a mid-range game. He's, you're going to play for Coach Barnes. He's improved his defense. So, he is a definite guy that can win games for them. They need him to be shooting. They need him to shoot the ball well, and shoot a good percentage. And they haven't lost very often. And in some of the games, they only lost a couple times. And on one of the times at Vanderbilt, he still scored pretty well. And then one time at Florida, he didn't shoot it very well. But he's been somebody that Coach Barnes trusts, and they've been able to count on. Yeah, I probably have. I mean, the Houston game was a last possession game. The Iowa State game was a last possession game. Duke came down to a last couple possessions. And so yeah, the more you play in those games, the more experience you have. You can't simulate that always in practice. Now, we've not always finished as well as we needed down the stretch. We've missed some free throws. We've had a couple of turnovers against pressure, and we've had some guys be able to get to the rim against us late and had some defensive breakdowns. So, uh, but all that said, we hopefully have learned from them and those experiences, and we can learn from them and improve on them. Florida is one of the best rebounding teams in college basketball. So, you go into that game, and that's a must. And Vanderbilt, they're really able to guard and they make some shots, and I don't think you need to. I don't think you necessarily need to beat Tennessee on the boards. You just can't let them beat you on the boards. Well, part of it too is like he was out the last 6 or so minutes with some cramps, and so one of the things that we're looking at is his diet, his hydration, and some things like that to make sure that he's has what it takes to have the right amount of salt in his body to be able to not be able to cramp up because he's playing more minutes. He's in the best shape of his life, so he's able to play those minutes and play those minutes without getting into foul trouble. That's been a real key. Is both Cheney and Dylan have done a tremendous job of defending vertically at the rim without fouling. We still blocking shots, still changing shots, and doing a great job of allowing the officials to see our verticality. And the rest of us are obviously trying to feeding off that, but Dylan Carwell impacts winning in a huge way. And there are so many things that Dylan does in the college game that translates to the NBA, in the sense that as a finisher, and as like I don't know that Dylan Carwell does not get enough talk about like the National Defensive Player of the Year. He won't block enough shots to win that award. He won't have enough steals to win that award. But if we can keep on winning, and we can keep on pointing that out, you just ask coaches around the country, anybody he plays against, he's the best defender in our league. That's a strong statement, but he just is, because he does it on the inside, he does it on the perimeter. It's not a knock against anybody else, but he can guard 1 through 5, and defense and rebounding win championships. And we've got the best in our league.